So today I'm doing another cooking video for you. I'm going to try to do it vocalized, and then I might have to go silent and go into voiceover because there are people home and I don't know when they're going to come in the kitchen. I don't want to deal with all the awkward or weirdness of making a video. So anyway, sorry, my hair looks kind of silly. Let's get started right away because I have to put this on my other channel and there's time limits and everything. So today we're making pumpkin chocolate chip cupcakes, and potentially if I have time, I'm going to show you how to make a cinnamon icing to go on top of them. So we'll start out with our ingredients that we need, and you're going to need soy milk, canned pumpkin like this, like Libby's pure pumpkin, not like pumpkin pie filling or anything. You're going to need sugar, raw sugar. If you're not vegan, that's not important, but this is a vegan tutorial. You're going to need baking powder. You're going to need baking soda, chocolate chips, more than I have here, but I have more in the pantry, cinnamon, salt, vanilla extract, some kind of vegetable oil, or you could use canola oil, but I prefer vegetable oil, measuring tools, a bowl to mix things in, a muffin tin, and lastly, flour. I always tend to use white whole wheat flour for basically everything. So let's get started with the dry ingredients. And for flour, we are going to need 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm just going to take my measuring cup here and fill this up with a cup. Okay, and put that right in there as well. Next, we're going to add our salt, and we need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So just get your measuring device and measure out 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, next let's do our cinnamon. We're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I have that measurement right here. Okay, next we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm just going to take that and do a 1/2 teaspoon of that. I'm actually using my 1/4 teaspoon measuring device, so I'm just going to do 2 of those, and that's 1/2 teaspoon. And then baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of that. Okay. And let's see, and then I'm going to do the sugar as well. Usually sugar is considered a wet ingredient, but instead of mixing the wet and dry separate today, just to save some time, I'm going to mix the dry first and then make a well, which is basically you're just going to make like a hole in the center, like push all the flour to the side, all the dry ingredients, and I'm going to put the wet ingredients in there. So I'm just going to mix the sugar with the dry today. And I'm going to need 1 cup of sugar. So I'm just going to measure that out. All right, that's about a cup. I'm just going to put that right in there. And those are all my dry ingredients. I'm going to mix these together. I prefer to use a whisk personally. Now, like I said, I'm just going to make a well in the center to put all my wet ingredients. I'm going to start out with my canned pumpkin, so I'm just going to open this up. All right, so now we're just going to put that pumpkin right in the center. All right, it's okay if there's still some stuff stuck to the side. When you put in your other wet ingredients, it should come out. So now, next, we're going to do our soy milk, and we're going to just use 1/4 cup of soy milk. So just add that in. If you are vegan and you have sensitivities to soy, you can always use rice milk or almond milk. Just be warned, almond milk might give it a little bit of a flavor, but I mean, it's really up to you and your preference. So I'm just going to measure out 1/4 cup of soy milk, put that right in the center. And next we're going to do our vanilla extract, and that's only 1 teaspoon. So I'm just going to use my 1/2 teaspoon measure and just do 2 of those. 1, 2. Okay, great. And now we're going to add our oil, and we need 1/3 cup of oil. So again, I'm just going to measure that out in my cup, my measuring cup that is. Okay, And I'm just gonna put that right in. Try not to drop everything. Make too much of a mess. And I believe that is it for that. So now I'm gonna kind of mix the wet ingredients in the well together first. Get them mixed together just a little bit. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of incorporate the dry into that as well. And you don't wanna over mix. You can use a blender if you want, just be careful to watch it, because with vegan baking, it's very easy for you know, your cake or your whatever it is that you're baking to become kind of tough, and over mixing is often a problem with that. So you just kind of want to turn it over like I'm doing these kind of motions here until everything is pretty well blended together and everything's just kind of moistened. All right, once it's almost all the way mixed, you're gonna want to add your chocolate chips. I'm gonna have to open up a new bag, but basically you're gonna want half a cup of chocolate chips. You can do less or more depending on your preference. I love chocolate chips, so I might add a little more, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna start out with half a cup of chocolate chips, and you're just gonna kind of toss those in, and you're gonna kind of fold them into the batter, just like this. And I did forget to mention this, I apologize, but you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to 350 before you even start. This way it's nice and warm when you're ready to put in your cupcakes. All right, so basically your batter is going to look like this, just a nice big orange clump, and it is gonna be very thick, so don't worry. Some people, when they think of cupcakes, they think of cake batter, and they imagine it being like really thin and liquidy, but you want it to be very thick like this. And now I'm gonna take my nonstick spray. If you have a vegan butter or margarine, you can use that as well to grease your pan. You can also use muffin tins if you like. What is that called? Muffin cups. You know what I'm talking about, cupcake cups. And then you're gonna wanna fill up each of your muffins about 3/4 of the way full, I would say. All right, so I filled mine a little bit more than 3/4 just because I wanted to use up all the batter I had. So hopefully that won't be too much of an issue when it rises, but we'll see. That's basically what it looks like. I'm gonna pop them in the oven now, and I'm gonna let them cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, guys, so about 24 minutes later, my cupcakes are ready, and they almost look like muffins. They're just sweeter because there's more sugar. You could probably make these into muffins by using less sugar, and voila, it's a muffin. But anyway, this is what they kind of look like. You're gonna wanna let them cool at least 10 minutes, if not longer, to be honest, before you wanna handle them, especially if you wanna ice them or put on some kind of frosting. So let's start out with the ingredients. You're gonna need powdered sugar, which is pretty easy to find. It's also called confectioners sugar sometimes. You're gonna need some soy milk. Again, you can use probably rice milk or almond milk if you're sensitive to soy. You're gonna need cinnamon, of course, vanilla extract, and you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of melted margarine. I already have them measured out and in this little pan so I can melt it. This pan's really cute. If you don't have something like this, you can use like a larger pan, or if you have a microwave, that always works, of course. You can just put it in a small microwave-safe bowl and melt it. But in any case, let's get started. So I'm gonna start out with melting this. So while that's melting, I'm just gonna measure out my dry ingredients. So I'm gonna use a little bit less than the recipe calls for, because I always find that I have extra icing, always. But you're gonna need a half a cup of confectioner's sugar, which is this right here. So I'm gonna do a little bit less than half a cup. And then I'm going to want, I believe, what is it? A half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So you don't need much, surprisingly. So I'm just going to take my 1/4 teaspoon, just do 2 of these. And I'm just gonna mix that together. And again, I love using whisks for this kind of thing. And with icing, it's nice to use whisks. Sometimes with frosting, it can get a little thick, but icing is usually a little bit thinner. Take my 2 tablespoons of melted margarine. I'm just going to put that right in there. And I'm going to take half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, using a recipe, so I'm just checking back on the ingredients. So again, I'm just going to use 2 1/4. And then we just need 1 tablespoon of soy milk. I have my tablespoon measure right here. I'm just going to put that right in there. And I'm going to mix that all together. You can see it's a very simple recipe, very simple ingredients. So that is a very simple, straightforward cinnamon icing. And you can use this as glazes on muffins, cinnamon buns, scones, anything like that. It works really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video, and I will talk to you later.